Okay. I think I've said that enough times. The audio should have caught by now. I really have to figure out at some point what the delay in that audio is. I don't really know what it is, but I know there is one. So, anyway, hello, welcome to Monday. Not my usual streaming day, but I had a very long drive yesterday, and so I knew I needed to get a lot of sleep, and yeah, I took today off. I also have a ton of hours to take off at work, and I slept for about. I tell you, I went down. I was down in Las Vegas. I drove down to Las Vegas on Thursday to do some stuff with Len Kabazinski, who I've done many shows with, who unfortunately just had his whole YouTube channel deleted, which was really stupid. But, YouTube sucks. So that wasn't really a surprise. In any event, went down there. We got a lot of really good stuff done. And then I drove back. And then on Saturday, I just wasn't feeling great. I really was not feeling great on Saturday. I think maybe because, I don't know. Well, my wife thinks maybe I was dehydrated. That's possible. I don't drink enough water. I know that. I especially don't drink enough water when I'm doing stuff. I don't think about it. I'm just bending over because I dropped something. Sorry. And I just bopped the mic, so sorry about that. Yeah, I'm doing great all over the place. So that makes sense because I had brought some COVID tests with me just to be on the safe side, and I thought maybe it was that, but what is it with the iPad? I don't know what the hell's going on with my iPad now. So I brought some COVID tests with me, and I tested negative twice, so I was happy about that because I really didn't want to expose anybody else. I mean, that's exactly the whole thing I've dreaded this whole time. The reason I've been careful about it was, okay, don't expose anybody else. Don't get me wrong, I don't want it either, but it would really bother me if I expose somebody to it because I've been trying to be careful. But even if you're completely careful, you don't know. And it would have just been exactly my kind of luck to go someplace for the first time in 3-4 years, whatever, and then somehow get COVID, even though I really didn't do much. The stuff that we did was small scale. It's not like I was running around in giant crowds or going to concerts or anything, but that would have been my luck. So luckily I've tested negative the whole time, so it's not that, and I feel a lot better now. So I didn't sleep great the first and second night. So Thursday night and Friday night, hotel beds, once in a while you get a great one, although typically if you want a really good one, you're going to spend a ton of money. So that was the other end of it. But the hotel itself was great, I have to say. There's no criticism. The actual hotel, the employees, all the people there, great. The location was great because I stayed off the strip, which was completely my plan. I did not want to stay on the strip, and I didn't. So it was kind of off the strip a little bit. I mean, no more than 10-15 minutes from the strip, so close enough. But away from all that stuff and kind of almost a residential area, so it wasn't really loud. It was a nice place. But hotel beds, they're not the same as home. They never are. So I slept really badly the first and second night there. That probably contributed to it. And then I drove back yesterday, which was not a bad drive. I got lucky on the drive down, the drive back. The only problem was it got very warm, and I didn't want to. I now, by the way, I'm going to have to talk for longer than usual because my iPad has locked itself for 4 more minutes. So sorry, I don't know why. I know I'm typing my problem is I typed the password too fast. That's what it is. So I gotta wait until this thing tells me I can unlock it again. It's so stupid that they don't have a way to be able to, what do you call it? There may be a way for me to authorize it from my computer. It's just so stupid. It's just dumb stuff. But anyway, so the drive down wasn't bad because it was, like I said, until it started to heat up, and then it got tough. Because I didn't want to use the air conditioning because I was already using a ton of gas driving 8 hours. My car is not known for having great gas mileage. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So I tried it. I did not use the AC until the very last about 10 to 15 minutes on both sides of the drive because I just wanted to try not to burn all the gas up because I had to fill up 2 or 3 times each way anyway. But the drive back was fine. Wasn't a lot of traffic, and it was mostly cloudy for most of it, which did help with the heat thing. And then, yeah, but by the time I get back, driving for 8 hours on top of everything else, I basically went to sleep in about 4.2 seconds, and I slept for 10 hours. And then when I woke up, I felt a lot better. So I definitely made the right choice in coming back early so that I could make sure, because the other thing is I just didn't want to hit traffic. I'm not a fan of long drives to begin with. And then on top of that, to have hit traffic would have been really miserable. So I have to wait 2 more minutes. Sorry, I'm waiting 2 more minutes for this thing to let me unlock it. I really don't. This is ridiculous. This really is stupid that there's not another way for me to unlock this thing. So, unless there is a way, I'll take a look. This does have a web address. Maybe there is some way for me to authorize it from my other machine, but I doubt it. I think this is one of these. I appreciate Apple's dedication to security, but sometimes they're really dumb about it. Occasionally, let's see. This is not an iPhone, but it's got an iPhone passcode. Let's see. I'm just curious what this is going to say. If before you, I'm not going to reset. You can use your. No, I'm not going to. What? If you forgot, I didn't forget it. Jeez, I didn't. Okay, never mind. This is if you want to reset your device. I'm not resetting my device. Jeez, Apple, come on. All right, 1 minute. 1 minute. I do. You know what I do need to do is I do need to update. This is using an older version of a password, and I've just been lazy about updating it to be like my other passwords. And I'm not. Okay, let's try. All right, give me a second. I'm going to type this very deliberately to make sure I do it correctly. There we go. Okay. Anyway, sorry for the delay. Let's move over to actually drawing things. So anyway, that's why I have time today, is because I took today off after a very, very long drive. So feeling good. So I figured, why not do a stream? Let's do it. Oh. I thought I did that. Sorry, give me a second. You know why I have to repair it. Give me a second. Whoops. Hold on, I forgot because it locked itself. It knocked out the mirroring thing. 2 seconds, and I will have it for you here. So you're basically seeing a blank screen, but I will fix that. Just waiting for the little thing to come up. There it is. Come on, pop up. Pop up, buddy. All right, there we go. And let's open this up. And then we should see the thing in a second. Okay. There we are. And finally, sorry, did not mean for this to take so long. Sometimes that's just how it goes. So, what you see here is, this is the finished version of the Skulls and Flowers t-shirt design. So I actually finished that while I was in Las Vegas. I kind of finished that out because I had some dead time in between recording episodes and stuff. So there is the finalized version of that, except I may do some light coloration. I might color the teeth a slightly different version of white, or maybe a gray, just to differentiate them. But essentially, that is. Oh, I just realized. Wait, did I do that? I did that wrong on every. Wow. Yeah, I just realized something. You know what? We'll fix this right now because it never fails, man. It never fails, and I'll find that I did something really stupid. I mean, it's minor. It's not something most people knows. But I had this blackened in. That's not where the black is supposed to be. It's supposed to be over here. I mean, I made that mistake with something else too. In the actual. Hold on a minute. My phone is ringing. Bear with me a minute. Oh, that is a junk call from a spam thing of some kind. So I'm just gonna. Sorry if you can hear that ringing, but I'm not answering that because that is a spammer. So I don't answer spam calls. Okay, so basically I put the black into the wrong area on this. So let's get this fixed. Unbelievable. And I think this one went probably right here. Yeah, I should have known that was something I was going to do. Okay, here we go. There. Now the black areas are in the correct spot. So anyway, this is going to end up on a threadless shirt, probably this week, because I think this is going to be a good design for it. The red square I'm going back and forth on. I don't know whether it looks better with it or without it. It may look better without it like this. I don't know. Opinions welcome. I don't know on that. I sort of like the graphical element of having it there. but I don't know if it's actually... I kind of like that, but I don't know if that's actually... Hey, Brahma, how you doing? Hey, I'll ask you, since you're here. Opinion, right? See this piece we're looking at here? Better? Oh, Dimitri. Hey, man, how you doing? Hey, thanks for coming by. All right, Dimitri, since you're the person who's here and since you're talking, I grant you complete control over this creative decision because I'm 50-50 on it. Yeah, I try when I can to do different times because I know it's when I normally do it, it's tough for a lot of people. So that's another reason I wanted to do this when I was doing it. All right, Dimitri, this is all in your hands now, right? Here it is. This is going to go on a t-shirt. So with the red rectangle in the background or without, like that. With or without. I'm split on it. I sort of like the red thing, but I kind of like it without it too. I don't know. I'm honestly, at this point, I know I'm not going to make a decision, so I'm going to put it in. I'm going to fix that one line. Without. Okay. I'm fine with that. But I do have to fix. This white line is bugging me. Hold on. I got to fix this white line. This white line is just... I can't have this white line like this. It shouldn't be this smooth. This should be more curved. So I've got to fix this. It should be bumpier, whatever the word. Rectangles. I didn't. You know what? I don't. There was no necessity. Where it actually came from is I had resized the canvas, but I had filled the back, and then when I resized it and made it bigger, the fill stayed at the rectangle size, and I went, oh, maybe that'd be interesting, because I've seen that used on some designs, and I haven't necessarily hated it, but I didn't know if it was going to work for this. So like I said, I just got to a point where I both liked it and didn't like it, so I figured, I'll just ask somebody and let somebody else decide. So don't need it. That's perfectly valid reason to get rid of it. Okay, yeah, see, that's better. Much better with a little bit of curviness to it than it was with that straightness. Yeah. Okay, but let me fix that. No, come on. There. Yep, that looks better. Okay. All right, that's fine. So that will end up on a shirt. I may color the skulls a bone color, but I think I'm going to leave them white because then I think they're going to be too similar to that flower. But I am going to color the... I don't know. I was thinking I was going to color the teeth. You know what? I'm specifically not shading the skulls. I like them with the simplified, just the dark grays. I think I will gray the teeth, but I'm actually going to leave them like this. I like them with the black and white because I do a lot of skulls where I have the shading, but on this one, I like it where the flowers have the shading and the skulls don't, except for in the sockets. So I think I'm going to stick with that. Because like I said, I do a lot of skulls and I do a lot of shading on the ones, but I kind of like them like this. Yeah, I think, but this is actually not what I intended to draw today. Anyway, this is, where am I? Let's see. The one that I wanted to work on today was where? I want to do this one. This one I will be shading, but I want to do this one also. I think could make a good shirt design. Now I don't know about the stuff on the outside, but I think this one I want to make into. I think I want to do a finished version of this one. So let's take a look at the canvas size because it can't be this is probably pretty small. I'm assuming. I'm sure it is. So let's look at the. Yeah, it's 5x7. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna blow that up to 4 times its size. So that would be 20 by what? 21 or so. Oh no. Wait, 4 times 7. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 7 is 28, idiot. Oh, my math is so bad. Math is really not my strong suit. Is that? That would have to be it, right? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's kind of a weird. Yeah, I've asked around. I've not gotten a good answer on non-American alternatives to threadless. I'm happy to put them up somewhere else, but nobody has. I've asked, and nobody's really gotten back to me. Maybe there isn't one. I don't know. Maybe there's not a good alternative because I don't. It is ridiculous that you have to pay $30 to ship a $15 shirt somewhere. I mean, it's just nonsense. So if there's a non-US store that is a threadless type of thing, I don't care if I have to manage 2 different stores. None of these are costing me anything. I'll do it. I can't do it myself. I have no resources to be able to print shirts or anything like that. So otherwise, I would just do it and send it to people and not charge them an arm and a leg. But I don't have the ability to do that. But okay, wait a minute. Let me think about this. Let me make this let's make this 18 by 24. Because I do, when I do the threadless stuff, let me see if I did that correctly. Let me just take a look at it. Give me a second. I do, what's the word for it? I do like to offer the print options for people. That's layer 2. Yeah, that was the one that I was messing around with. Okay. Oh, did my thing just stop sharing? Sorry, let me get it back. That happens, unfortunately. If it doesn't just fry the whole stream. So, give me a second. I'll get that back where it needs to be. So, just waiting for it to reconnect. Because this is clearly going to be one of these days. So, hold on a minute. Okay. Wait for it to show back up. Waiting. There it is. Let me put it back in here because for whatever reason now, this doesn't retain any memory of things that were shared. Even though I used to, but I'm not going to get into that again. All right, there we go. Okay, so 18 by 24. Let's go ahead and group this whole thing. So yeah, I don't like the fact that there is not that I don't know of a non-American threadless equivalent, because I'd be happy to put stuff on there. So if anybody knows of one, by all means, let me know. And I will, there's my Twitter account. My email address is just ozoneartfoundry@gmail.com. If somebody watches this and knows of one, please let me know and I will absolutely set up a thing. Because I don't like the fact that people have to pay a ton of money to ship things like that. Not the way I want it to be. Okay, let's see. Let's use this. Let's go back to the other one. The other brush was fine. Tech Pen 1 is fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on our symmetrial. That's not a word. Symmetrical. Let's do a reset. Reset. Dead center. There we go. Okay. Here we go. It's on assist. So let's go ahead and do this. So we will start right here. Oh no, we will not start like that. We'll start like this. I'm always better when I end my pen strokes than when I start them. Yeah. See, I don't care about this down here. Doesn't matter now that it's all weird and wobbly like that because it's going to get erased anyway. And I am going to do this. Let me put a shield, a fill layer shield, to use as kind of an easy way to fade that out instead of having to combine all the layers in case I need to actually look at something. And how many layers am I going to get? I should have at least 30 on here, right? Let's see. 44 max. Perfect. That should be plenty. Should not need more than 44 layers because I'll start combining them at some point. Yeah, like I said, that's fine, Dimitri. I don't really does bug me that there's not better options for stuff like that because I really don't like the idea of people paying a lot. I don't think people have. Oh, I didn't put the what do you call them? There's some people who've emailed me saying, I'd love to order your shirts, but the shipping is just, and I'm like, hey, I totally understand. And I wish I had an answer for you. I really do. But thus far, I don't. Which sucks. I don't like it. But it is just the way that it is. Okay. Let's join those up right there. There we are. Okay, and then we will do, let's see. Since these layers are not intersecting, I'm going to do this, because why not? Okay. Oh, so, gotta follow the actual thing, man. There we go. I'm going to stop right there, because I'm going to make those grooves are not going to be symmetrical. I don't want the entire thing to be symmetrical. I want some of it to be, but not the entire thing. So some parts will be individualized. Like you can see the nose thing, that's different. So what I'll do for that is, let's do, since most of it is going to be the same, we will do this. Oh no, that's not even, oh, I see, because it's not centered on the screen. That's okay. So I know what I'll do for that. I'll bring this down, come around. We'll do that. That does not join. Okay, I keep my... You know what? We're trying to figure out what we're gonna do with that, because Lando's looking at some stuff with his books. So I don't know whether he wants to use that or not. I don't know what he wants to do with that. That's one of those things that we keep talking about and it never actually gets anywhere, which I'm trying to... Don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not... It's as much my fault as his. Because we like it. It's just we're trying to figure out what we want to do with it. Because there's some stuff he's working on, but he's got a lot of things happening at the moment. So it's one of those things that got delayed. And now it's one of those things that's on the back burner because he's moving and doing all that stuff. So at the moment, it's just one of those things that's on the back. Oh, no, I remember. I still have it. It's a great model. It really is. And I think that's what I was talking about using it as kind of almost like a... I think what we were thinking of, it was something like using it for like a hardcover or something, or he'd sign certain things with that one. I don't remember. You know what? I haven't. Honestly, I haven't tried it. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I think I did mess around a little bit with it because I was messing around with like the soda can model or something. But honestly, 3D models, I've just come to realize it's not for me. It's neat. Oh, connecting to chat. Hold on, because apparently my network is... Or it's the chat. Hold on. There. Welcome to the chat room. Okay, apparently the chat room decided to have a blip, so sorry about that. I don't show any frame drops, so I don't think it was my network connection. I think it was something with the chat function. But no, I messed around a little bit with the soda can and maybe the sunglasses or something like that, and realized I'm just not... 3D modeling is never going to really be my thing. It's neat. I appreciate people who can do it, but it's not really something I think I'll ever get into. At least I don't think so. That could change. That could change in a month. But at the moment, I do not want this to be symmetrical. But at the moment, I don't really see myself using it for much of anything. Or doing 3D stuff, I should say. But like I said, that could change. But I am mystified by it to some degree, because I'm like, wow, some of these people, I've seen some people do some really wonderful stuff with it. Wait, where's that blood coming from? Hold on, I'm trying to see. Yeah, that line I did doesn't make any sense. No, that does not make any sense. Okay, well, we'll do this. We'll bring this down. We'll do this. And we'll do that. And we'll just have this running down like that. And we'll have that. And we'll come back up. But I know it's in there. I have seen it, and I've seen people do stuff with it. Like I said, I dipped around with it a little bit and kind of... But, I mean, not much of anything. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's neat. I can make a 3D model of this, so that's fun. And that was kind of the extent of it. So technically, yes, I tried it. Realistically, no, I didn't. I didn't do much with it. So did I try it? Yes. Did I really do anything with it? No. I don't know. 3D modeling to me doesn't grab me. Like I said, I absolutely marvel at some of the stuff people do. And that's kind of the other thing, too, is I know that I'm not passionate enough about it to really do anything with it. And since there are so many other people, yeah, go for it. So that's what I'm saying, is there's other people who really enjoy this stuff. And so I'd rather see work from people who enjoy what they're doing than me kind of messing around with it if I know it's not really something that I'm all that into. And not to say I don't like this stuff. I do like it when I see really good 3D modeling, which there's a lot of really good people at it, or people who are really good at it. That's terrible English. I just know I'm not ever going to be one of those people. I'm just a 2D guy. It's just more my stuff, more my speed, I guess. But yeah, absolutely. I look. I have go for it. Absolutely, you can do it. And I will pass it along. You can probably make a much better version than I did. That was just an existing drawing that Lando liked. Yeah, absolutely, go for it. I will pass it right along. I have no what's the word for it? I am not protective of that whatsoever. At all. So go for it. You can absolutely do it. Oh, you know what? I had a second stream of blood coming off of here, which I completely missed. So let's get that. And we'll have it join up about that. It makes more sense for it to join there. So let's loop this around like that. I'll rejoin those, and let's have it streaming like this. That'll come up there. Yeah. Okay, so we'll have this come up like that. We'll join all this stuff up. Make sure it's still sharing. It is. There we go. Okay. Okay, those are all joined up. Okay, good, good, good. All right, now I'm going to do the orb. So we'll do its own layer for that, and then I'll shatter it. But for now, I just got to actually draw the thing. Follow that circle around. And we will say, make that a circle. You know what? I'm gonna make that thicker. Let's see. Let's see. What are we at now? Is this 5? That's at 5. Let's go to 10. See what 10 looks like. No, let's go thicker. Let's go like 15. I want that orb to have some weight to it. There we go. Am I? Interesting, because it's telling me I'm not. It's saying... It's showing no frame drops. Huh. Hold on a minute. Let me do it quick. This is probably bad to do during a stream. Let me just do a quick speed test, because I did see some, which of course would be my luck. I did see some, what's the word for it? Work trucks from my internet service provider around. So it would be my luck that they're doing some kind of network maintenance, you know, right when I do a stream. That wouldn't shock me at all. So this may glitch it a bit for a second, because I'm running a speed test. So let's see. Okay, now we're looking. So right now it's showing 400 megs down, which it does. The latency's, the ping's a little bit high for what I'm used to. It's at 30. Usually it's around 10 or less, so it could be that. Give me a second. I'm going to look at. I want to see what the upload looks like. It's jumping between 10 and 18 up megabits. Oh, now it's climbed 13, 14. Okay, so it's going. Well, the ping is a little bit high, so it may be a latency issue. That could be. Yeah, because 31 milliseconds, it's usually less than. It's usually at least half of that. So is that my voice dropping in and out? It must be. What else would it be? That's the only thing that's going steady. I'm not drawing steadily, so it's got to be that. Yeah. Another reason maybe I don't do this usually at this time. But I mean, Monday, I don't know. I wouldn't expect a high amount of network utilization at this point, but what do I know? Oh, there's a couple of gaming events or something being streamed too, so maybe I'm running into real world stuff that's using up bandwidth. I wasn't thinking about that. I know the Ubisoft live stream is going on. I don't know if it's still going, but there could be some things where I'm running into some traffic. There we go. Okay. All right. So we'll shatter that later, but there's the orb is in place. And, well, I mean, I know. Well, no, let's switch back. Let's switch back to 5. Verify it's the right size. It is. Okay, we'll go up here. I will shatter that later. So actually, I'll turn the orb down for now, just so I can see what. Actually, I'll turn it off. I don't need the orb at this second, so I turn that off. Let's get the teeth in there. We're on our own layer. Oh, is it that what it is? Yeah, that's really... Whoa! Okay, well, I just noticed that the the stream software now shows 307 frame drops, but that would make sense if I ran a bandwidth test on top of it. Before that, it showed 0. It does show some slow frames, so it may be the latency thing, because that 307, that wasn't there before I ran the speed test. So I'm sure that impacted it, because it was doing a bunch of download-upload testing. So I get that. That would definitely hammer it. But I think it's the slow frames, which lines up with the latency being a little higher, the ping being high. So that sort of makes sense to me. But yeah, it's hysterical. Now it's at 307 frame drops. Well, no kidding. I ran a network test. Yeah, it's not really the best thing to do when you're trying to maintain a stable connection. So I'm not I'm not overly shocked by that. That does not bother me because I caused that. So I'm okay. I mean, I'm not okay with it, but I know what it is. It's just funny though to go from 0 to 307. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Don't run a network test when you're streaming, everybody. That's just stupid, which I just did. But I was curious. But the latency makes sense with that. Now that does explain, I think, the hitching. So sorry about that. The nice part is it should be. Well, that's an interesting. You know what? That'll be interesting to see what the Twitch output looks like. I don't know if Twitch will show that because I'm not seeing it, or at least, well, I shouldn't say I'm not seeing it. I'm not noticing it because I'm drawing. So, do you know about Backrooms? Yeah, I watched those. I did a 5 on those. Probably a couple of months ago now, but I had done them when the person who did them when they announced when they announced that he was going to be doing the movie, I did a 5 around that same time because I watched the entire series up to that point. So I think I'm 1 or 2 behind now. I might be 1 or 2 behind. I don't remember when his last one was, but yeah, I really liked them. I thought those were really good. I think I said in my 5, I said, yeah, I understand why they said that, hey, you can make it because, you know, if he can stick that with the film, I mean, that's always the risk, right? Is that, you know, will the producers interfere? Will they say, oh, you need some more jump scares? They can always ruin stuff like that instead of understanding that this guy had the idea and did it correctly from the beginning. And just get out of the way and let the person make the thing, you know? But it's very unusual when that happens. It's much more typical for them to come in and screw it up. So I hope that what we end up with is a well-funded version of what he's already been doing. That's what I'm hoping for. But I will not be shocked if the final product is a massively altered and ultimately inferior version, because they just, I think there's, well, maybe not, because I think A24 is the ones that are funding it, so they tend to be more on board with the, you know, let the artist do whatever they want type of thing. So if it is A24, which I kind of think it is, then that's a better sign to me that it will actually get made properly. But if it isn't, honestly, the YouTube stuff is fantastic, so who cares? It's that good. For anybody who hasn't seen it, if you're into the creepy stuff. It's the liminal spaces thing where it's just basically, by the way, my wife and I just started watching Severance, the Apple TV series that is sort of, you know, the same liminal spaces type of thing. We're only maybe an episode and a half in, so we're in the second episode, and then we had to stop watching it because we had some stuff going on, but liking it. House of Leaves. I've heard of that one. Haven't read it, though. I'm in the middle of, I'm reading all the Brian W. Aldiss stuff, so I'm almost done with Dracula Unbound. And then I'm going to, what was it? Moreau's Other Island. Oh boy. Dracula Unbound is psychotic. It is so friggin' wacky. Dracula's Time Train. Oh man. Oh, so House of Leaves is where that kind of started. That's interesting. Yeah, I've that book's been recommended to me a few times. I would have absolutely no problem reading it. Why did I not finish where the skull intersected with the teeth? Was there a reason I didn't do that? Oh, because the orb cuts it off. I got it. Okay. Yeah, I the liminal spaces thing is interesting. I've always had that kind of, you know, the idea that just these spaces that you're used to in one form become very creepy when you see them in a different way. So an office during the day when there's people in it and lights and noise and phones ringing and everything is a very normal and nothing strange about it type of experience. But then if you go back in the middle of the night when there's no one there and there's just the lights are on but everything is dead silent and it's dark outside, it inherently becomes creepy. That's great. I love that idea. That's a really neat way to do stuff. I think it has a lot of, obviously, Backroom shows it has a ton of potential. So yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes. You know, because the other trick though is, you know, the more he explains about it, the more risk that it kind of falls apart. I don't know. I've enjoyed everything he's doing so far, the Backrooms guy. So and yeah, with the movie too. I just don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if that's gonna escape. I'm hoping not, because I think it is A24. If I'm right about that, then I'm not as concerned about it. But even then, you just don't know. You just don't know. So there's things that seem like they're just such a natural translation. You can make it work, and then for whatever reason, it never quite comes together. But I really hope that's not the case with these, because I think that backroom stuff is really good. It's really good in a lot of different ways, but chiefly the way he sets the tone and he gets everything. There's a lot of restraint in them. It doesn't fall for a lot of the kind of typical horror conventions. I think there's a really, really smart planning in the way that he's got the episodes architected. Obviously, the effects, that type of stuff, and also whenever you do something that's simulating an analog thing, which is what in those, for those who haven't seen it, it's supposed to be like captured camcorder tapes or security footage. I'm always a sucker for that stuff when it's done well. I like when people use quote-unquote imperfections in the media to be able to do effects and things that are, if you were doing it in crystal clear 4K, you would see the seams more easily. So, and I think this creator, I can't remember the name, whatever the name of the person is, I think he does that very well. Utilizes kind of an archaic media idea to do these really creepy little shorts, which are really good. I'm going to do this one. Let's do some of the skull curve here. I'm not going to worry about making, these are not going to be, what do you call it? These I'm not going to use the symmetrical thing for. I'm just going to make them all freeform pretty much. All right. Let's see. I got to figure out what, oh, I thought the thing dropped. It didn't. Okay. Let's bring the sphere back in. So on the outer curve, we can get rid of this. And we can get rid of this. I'm afraid I'm going right now. Yeah, I want to look it up. I think that it was A24. If it's A24, I have a hunch. Let's take a quick look. Give me a second. I want to take a look here. A24 Backrooms. If it's A24, because I mean, A24 does. Yes, it is an A24. Yeah, I mean, there is the risk. That there is a risk. It could be that. But if in fact if A24 is, if they stay out of the way of it, and I mean, really, why would you bring in somebody like this and not trust that person? You know what I mean? If you're going to give this to a 17-year-old, then you must think that this 17-year-old knows what this stuff is. So I'm hoping that they will, and again, A24, I think, has earned a little bit of leeway compared to, say, a major studio. Now, that doesn't mean anything. I say that, and this could be the one where they decide to step in and start, saying that a 17-year-old doesn't know enough and they'll figure it out, or they'll tell them what to do, which would be tremendously stupid. So yes, it may end up going ring silent. I mean, the ring thing, I assume you mean the American ring, right? Not the original. Because Americanizing the ring was always such a stupid thing. I have never understood why they Americanize this stuff. It's both insulting and it almost never works out, Americanizing it. Because it's basically a way of saying, we think Americans, which, hey, there is some argument for this, but at some point you sit there and go, okay, there's a bit of a thing to this. Americans are too stupid to accept it if we just don't see Americans or kind of white people in it. So we can't possibly, nobody's going to watch it. When, of course they will. This stuff, the amount of things that have had I don't know what the word is, cross whatever popularity, that's not new. But yeah, there's this persistent thing where you're like, oh, well, if they don't look a certain way and speak in English, Americans can't read subtitles and they won't tolerate it. Okay, fine. Fine. It's stupid. It's stupid. But Okay, we'll use that for the inner lines. But I've never understood that. Silent Hill, yeah, I don't know. Silent Hill's a more interesting one. I don't think the first Silent Hill movie is that bad. It's definitely not as good as it should have been. I'm really hoping that their run that they're going to do at it will be better. I don't know that it will. I don't. But I didn't really hate the Silent Hill movie. I thought a lot of the visuals were really interesting. It definitely felt like it was done by somebody who at least knew the material, which is not typical for a lot of this stuff, and had an appreciation for it, but it was definitely missing something. It certainly wasn't great, but I think it was better than most video game adaptations, let's put it that way. But now they're gonna, yeah, it's tricky. Silent Hill's a tricky one. But at the same time, it seems like one that should have been fairly easy to adapt if you just stuck with what the video game story was. I think that's another thing, too. I think there's this, I don't know, maybe this is just my perception of it, but it feels at times like, yeah, exactly. All the stuff and that's my point, right? Is why they feel the need, because Silent Hill, obviously when you have something like a Super Mario Brothers movie, right? There's no story to Super Mario Brothers really until you get to the later games. But even there, I mean, Super Mario Brothers doesn't really have a story necessarily outside of Bowser and Mario are always fighting and Peach is usually kidnapped or whatever. But that's the Super Mario Brothers story. There's really not much to it. Whereas Silent Hill, the first, second, I mean, I never played it past, what was the Room, 3? I don't think I ever played the ones past the Room. They are story-driven games that, you don't have to do anything to them. Just adapt the story. Why do you have to significantly change? I mean, the thing with the little girl and the cult, I don't know, that just seemed, just stick with the actual story of it. Just stick with what it was and get the visuals right, and you've got your movie. I don't know why you have to mess with things. Resident Evil was another one. The Resident Evil stuff, there was stuff in there, I mean, Mila's in it, so whatever, I don't care. Let's just be honest. I don't care. I was going to watch it anyway. I've rewatched it many times, and it's a great movie because Mila's in it. So it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I guess that's it. It's this idea that, oh yeah, well, this must be really popular for some reason, but we don't really know what that is. Therefore, we'll write a better version. Yeah, part of the reason that a story-driven game is popular is because the story was good to begin with. So, I don't understand that, but what else is new type of stuff that I don't understand something that gets done this way. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see with what, because they are making another Silent Hill again. I think they're making another movie now. So I hope it's good. I would love the material. I would love to see a good adaptation of Silent Hill. It is such a cinematic type of game. Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess it really is just that simple, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But what the hell do I know, I guess? I'm just a Yahoo with an opinion on the internet, so I guess whatever. But if that's, like I said, I hope they give the Backrooms guy a lot of leeway and just say we trust that you know what you're doing because we saw what you did. Oh, I saw it disappear. I got it. Hold on, I'll grab that. Yeah, it's definitely one of those streams. So I'm hoping that they just trust this person and say the reason that we brought you in on here is because you clearly have the ability to do this thing, and we're going to let you do that thing. That would be the best thing to do. Let the person who you saw had the potential to do it, unless he comes to you and says, hey, I don't know how to do this in a movie, and then you can say, okay, tell me what you're trying to do, and let's get a solution together. That's fine, because obviously 17-year-old probably is going to have some what's the word for it? Some entry friction to making movies. It is different when you have to control a set and everything else. There's definitely things he's not going to know. That's fine. Absolutely help and offer guidance when asked, but don't start stepping on it and getting past the point of saying, well, if you need us for something, we're here to help you. We will absolutely help you. Otherwise, stay out of the way. Let the guy make his stuff. Yeah, probably. It does not have to, and maybe that's why that would be what I would hope is A24 would say, look, we're not going to give you $50 million because you don't need it. But also because we're not giving you $50 million, we don't have to have a huge set with 1 million people and all this stuff, and we'll let you do it the way you need to do it. Well, they're not going to film it on VHS. I doubt. And to some degree, that's, you want to, it may look like it was shot on VHS. So yes, I think they'll probably go for the aesthetic. But that would be interesting if the guy said, well, I want to do it on period equipment. You could. The only problem there is, of course, if something is damaged or whatever, you can't recover it. So I could see them saying, all right, we'll make it look like VHS, but trust us, you really don't want to actually be shooting on VHS. I can see that. But the aesthetic, yeah, absolutely. I want it to look like the YouTube series looks. That's why it works. Don't mess with stuff that works. Just stick with it. So we'll see. I mean, they've announced it, so it's going to happen. We'll see what it ends up looking like. Like I said, if they trust the creator to execute his vision, I think we could have something that's actually really interesting and unique and different. I hope so. I really do. I would like to see it be something worthwhile and not just another jump scare, clone, whatever type of thing that we get so often and is just utterly boring and I don't care about, because that's uninteresting to me. So we'll see. But like I said, of all the places that would get it, A24, that to me is a good sign, potentially. That could change. We could start seeing stuff out of it. You know what? I'm going to attempt to use the taper pen here. We'll see. I don't know if this is really going to work. Oh yeah, that's not bad. That did okay. I want it to be a little thicker though. Let's jump to 10. So I don't know. But I mean, regardless, you still have the stuff on the the YouTube channel. So even if they do mess it up, at least the YouTube channel will be there and that stuff. I would assume he's going to continue. There's something else. I hope that there's no loss of the IP where now he can't make his YouTube series anymore. That would really suck if they did something like that. So I'm hoping that it will not be that. I'm hoping that it will be, no, you still can make your series and do all the stuff, and we want this to be a version of that, but we don't want to take away what you've done that's successful. I really, really hope that's the way the deal is structured, because that would just be terrible, I think. If that kid has any good representation or somebody who's actually advising him well, that will, I would assume, be part of any deal as to, okay, no, but we'll make this thing, but he retains the ability to make more episodes of this on YouTube, because it may be something where he doesn't. Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, that doesn't matter. It should be just, as you said, low budget. Who cares who the lead is? It's not about who the lead is. It's never been about the lead in any of the shorts, really. I mean, there's the one character that's sort of a main character, but I don't think that demands you to have a Bradley Cooper type or somebody like, I don't think it has to be something like that. So that probably will come last. I mean, or come further on once they have, the basic idea of it locked down and what they want to do. Then they'll get to having somebody for the lead. But I don't think it really matters at this point, because, like I said, I don't think that's not going to be a make or break thing for it. I don't think. Unless they really try to put more of a... I don't think it needs to have a lot of explanation. Yeah, I hope so. I think it would be good. I hope they do go with somebody that we've never heard of, that's, that... And what would be great is if it's somebody who's actually familiar with and appreciates the material and gets the concept. That would be great. So I'm, again, with your idea that it should only be $50,000. Yeah. Just go with somebody who is... there's going to be a 5 out this week, because my wife and I watched a show called Jury Duty. That is basically a kind of reality show type thing. And one of the things that I think makes that show work so well is the fact that most of the people in it are unknowns. They're not actors you would know. There's only really 2 people that I recognized. one is intentionally supposed to be, I mean, it's James Marsden, he's playing himself, so you're supposed to, that one is obvious. But the other guy in it, I know him from Parks and Rec, but the person in the show who's the kind of reality show target person doesn't, or obviously, or hopefully did not. Again, there's, whenever you get into reality television, you have to dread that there's more fakery than you think. I hope that's not the case with this show, because I think if it's genuine, it's a well done show. If it's not, that really just sucks, because it just kills what was fun about it. But there's no real way to know. But I'd be fine with. I never have an issue with, don't necessarily cast somebody who's extremely well known. That's the go-to. But there again, your point about the budget could make the difference there. If it's a low budget, then you can go with, you don't feel like you have to recoup as much. Whoops, wrong there. So they may be more willing to go with somebody who is lesser known. If it's a $50 million picture, they're going to say, well, we're going to have to make, $100 million on this. Therefore, we have to have a name that we know will draw people in. Well, forget it then. There you go. You've just killed it. Or at least you've certainly knocked down the chances that it's going to be able to be what it was in terms of the feeling and everything. So we'll see. Yeah, it's early. So there's a lot that we don't know about the movie entirely. So without knowing that, it's going to be tricky to try to figure out what they'll do. Because I'm assuming this thing isn't, because he was 17, I believe, when they announced that, which was earlier this year, I want to say, but I don't remember. So they may just wait till he's 18, because, there's labor laws, and then, they're trying to work around his school schedule. That may be easier. Do they really? I've read some of that stuff. I like the stuff. I'll have to look. I'm assuming it's probably on their Wikipedia thing in references or whatever. But Control is what got me into it, is the Control stuff, because Control was such a beautifully done game and is directly, clearly influenced from that stuff. Okay, I'm gonna erase that. So that was really my first exposure to it. It's a really neat idea. I like the fact that a lot of it is silly or funny. It's not all necessarily geared towards horror stuff. I actually quite enjoy that about it. Where is this? Okay, let's go to here and let's chop that out. Okay. And what's this one? Oh, too close. Okay, let's go down to here. Let's do that. SCP Overlord. Interesting. I'm going to watch that. Yeah, I think it's really neat stuff. Like I said, Control was my entry point to it, and I think Control is so well done. And yeah, once I found out what the SCP stuff, and I was reading, oh yeah, this is definitely, like, they have a love of this material, and I think they did such a great job with it. Okay, so there's our fractures and the staircase. I'll check this stuff out. Sounds interesting. Okay, let's do a mask on this. Wait, which brush am I using? No, I don't want to use a taper brush for that. I want to just round it. I think it's going to just break like that. There we go. But, it doesn't make sense to have a sharp edge on that. Okay, hold on, go backwards. Let's just round it. Now I can fix that. That's on that layer right there. Whoops. Switch to that. Just erase that. There we go. Okay. Let's go to layer mask. Let's go back to here. And okay, we'll do that. Then we'll go to this one, I assume. Or this one. What's that one? Okay. We'll round that back this way. There we are. Back to our mask. And we'll keep filling this out. Yeah, I like, what was one of those? It was one where it's just all these pipes that are in a room and you hear, oh man, this is really irritating me. Hold on, I'll come back in a second. I'm just doing masking in the background because honestly, it's not like that's that exciting anyway. I don't think. Pretty sure it isn't. There it is. Okay, let me go here, here, and say this, and this, and this, and this, and save. And I should be seeing it again. Okay. Each layer is that one. Let's see. There it is. Okay, let's do this. Just I'll switch back to paint. Bigger eraser. Rid of that. Which one of those? That's that one. Okay, and I have to mask out that as well. In fact, let's do that. Let's mask this out because there's parts of this I need. So we'll mask right there. And that will mask all the way to right here. So yeah, I do dig the SCP stuff. Okay. Whoops. Get rid of that. There it is. Probably should just use the paintbrush. It's bigger. There we go. It's easier when I'm doing this because I just need to get rid of the whole chunk of this stuff. Okay. There we go. Yep. So now let's jump back to... Where are we here? Where is that one? Not that. There it is. Let's get rid of that so we don't need that line. Or that line. Or that line. Is that it? Okay, so there we go. All right. It's getting there. Getting there. Yep, okay. Let's do, let's go back to, I don't think it's that. No, it'd be the small brush, this one. Yes. So let's look for those lines. I like to do similar weight lines on things. So probably, where's the ones that are around the eye socket? That's it. So right here we'll do this. Let's just fracture this up around here. And then come back down. And then we'll have this part here. Goes there. Let's erase that. What are we looking at time-wise? Okay, we're right at about the hour mark. Probably bring the stream to a close relatively soon, because around an hour is when it tends to decide to completely crash and reboot my computer. So, rather than that have that happen again, and an hour is about where I like to stop anyway when I'm drawing something. It's a good point. A good point to stop. Yeah, that's looking all right so far. I am okay with that. Yeah. Yep. I like that the orb is that thicker weight. Skull's looking good. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. Yeah, this is probably a good place to... Well, you know what I can do? Before I bring this to a close, let's do this. Let's do a black layer, just so we can see some of the, filled-in parts, because I always like that. It's always nice to see kind of the filled-in bits. I think, anyway. Maybe alone on that, but I like it when you can see kind of some of the more positive, negative. And this one I will shade. This will be a shaded skull, because I think this one does call for it. Okay, so we'll do that. Oh, yeah. Do that. Okay, and that. Okay. I'm gonna, what do you call it? I'll fill in those. I'm not gonna leave it as sloppy as that, so don't worry. I'm just using the big brush to do the big areas. And then I'll go in and do the fine detail stuff. And I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do there. I think I'll cap that with black, and I'll use shade lines to kind of do the transitional part of that. So we'll see. The parts of the nose or nasal cavity that are, yeah, there we go. Yeah, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. Let's switch to here. Let's fill in some of these areas here, the edges, so I'm not going too far over. Let's get that there. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if the mic is picking up that my dog is getting a bit restless anyway, because she probably needs to go out. But I don't know if the mic, I doubt it, is picking up her snoring, which would be very funny if it was, but I don't think it is. these mics are pretty good at sound isolation for the most part. Except, when I sneeze directly into them. No way you're going to miss that. But other than that, they do pretty well. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's a good starting point anyway. Yeah, doing an hour-long stream has been just about the kind of perfect. I don't always have a full hour to do them, but that's been about the right. I'm finding that to be the right amount where I'm, can get some output done and not be kind of looking at it too much, because I really do have that problem where if I'm looking at an image too much, I kind of lose my vision for it. Sounds really pretentious, but my kind of mental space for it. It gets a little wacky and weird. So I do like the hour-long one. Tends to be, it's a nice guidepost. Obviously, I can go a little over, a little under. I don't really care. But that general rule, that general approach seems to work fairly well. So I'm sticking with that for the near term anyway. At some point I might do something where I try to do a sketch to finish on, but I just don't think that would be all that fun. Some people might like to watch a really, really long stream, but I don't know that I would enjoy doing it. I've had some people say, you should do like a 3-hour long charity stream. It's like, look, I got nothing against charity at all. I'm happy to donate to it, but I don't know that doing a 3-hour stream is really in my DNA for something like this. I just don't think it is. Some people can do it. I have seen channels where people stream for hours. I don't think that's something I'll ever do. Much as the charity thing would be a nice idea, and certainly I have no problem helping out charity, none at all. But I don't know that I'm engineered for a multi-hour stream. Not unless I guess it was playing a video game or something, maybe. But even there, I don't think so, because I generally don't play video games for like 3 hours unless it's me and Lando playing. If we were to do a co-op stream of some kind, I could see that where we were just going crazy, playing Far Cry 4 or something like that. But where we're just kind of mayhem and destruction. Which seems kind of a funny thing to be doing for charity. Oh, let's blow things up and put arrows through people's eyes for children's cancer benefits or research benefit. I don't know, that seems interesting. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but there's something about that seems really weird. So yeah, long streams are not really my thing. And I don't watch long streams usually either. I'm like 2 hours and I'm ready to, I'm done with this now. So it's just a different thing for different people. That's just me. It's not meant to be. I was going to fill that in. It's not meant to be a commentary on it. I don't. If people enjoy that, that's great. I just don't particularly. I'm also not a young person anymore, so it's a different world. That's fine. It don't bother me. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna stop here. This is good. It's a good start. Got a lot of the good line work in, and. Yeah, I think that this will now because again, I'm aiming for this to be a shirt. So these outside elements, you will see the outside of them because I want it to be kind of placed in the middle of the shirt. I don't like the idea of images just cut off on shirts. That's always bothered me. So it's not going to be something like that. It's going to be something where we're going to fill those outside elements in. But that is a good start. I like it. It's going along well. Many of these things I've been doing lately, sorry, I just bumped the mic with the iPad, have been magic card designs that, basic sketches that I've been like, that's pretty good. Let's see if I can adapt that to a shirt. And that's been working out. So I'm going to stick with that. Just keep doing those designs and see where they go. All right, well. Oh, sorry, I just hit the mic again. It's just in a weird spot on my shirt. I keep bumping into it. So I think we're going to bring the stream to a close there. So, Dimitri, thanks for coming by, man. I'm really glad that I was able to do a stream where you were able to actually watch it. I would love to do more things and more times. It just usually doesn't work out. It's just a combination of having a day job and not having enough time. Because I don't want to, there are little pockets of time, but like 20 to 30 minutes. I don't want to do a stream that short. I feel like that doesn't really let me do much. So I like to be able to do a good chunk of time. It just doesn't generally work out for a lot of people's time zones. Unfortunately, in a global world, that's just a problem is, wherever I am could be 8 to 12 hours off from somebody else. And if it's one of those bad time zones, it's just kind of stuck that way. So that sucks, but it is just the way that it is. So anyway, I'm planning, I believe, to do my stream, my normal Wednesday stream. I think that's going to happen. That'll be later in the day. It's going to be around 5 p.m. whatever it is that I usually do those. So sorry, Dimitri, that'll be in a bad time zone for you. But yeah, I do want to keep trying to do these when I can in different times, kind of spread them out so that people can stop by them. But they also do end up on the YouTube channel, which I know, isn't live, and I like the live stuff too. I have that same kind of preference for live stuff. But even if you don't get to watch them live like this, I am uploading them all. There's one post a week over on both the show's YouTube channel and my art YouTube channel. So even if you can't watch these, they do all show up there. And for the most part, they're the entire stream, except when it crashes or whatever. I might chop out the parts where it starts going crazy. But other than that, it's the same stuff. So it just isn't live. So you can always go to those addresses, which is basically now, I think, because YouTube gave everybody the ability to have those kind of branded channels. So if you go to youtube.com/Ozone Nightmare or youtube.com/Ozone Art Foundry, the Ozone Nightmare one, that is more of like, it's mature and it's got cursing and stuff with other videos in there. The Ozone Art Foundry one is largely completely safe. Depending on some of your interpretation of the content for like kids, like bleeding skulls may not be what you want your kids to see, but I generally don't swear. I generally don't have any adult content on there, so it's definitely safe for work. I think it is, but obviously, young children, stuff like that, just decide if it's something they should be seeing. But I try to keep that one as a clean version, and that's all just artwork. There's no video game stuff or anything on there, and that way that makes it really easy to keep that clean. And then Ozone Nightmare is the more kind of free-for-all channel. So anyway, that's just a way to say that if you can't often catch these, the replays are there, and like I said, they're basically just everything you're going to see here. So I try to make sure that it's all there, that people can watch it if they want to, because I know the live shows don't always work for a lot of different time zones. Okay, now I'm just babbling, and I've started yawning, which I did really well. I didn't yawn the entire stream up until just now, so I was actually doing really well. So that's great, because I normally am yawning multiple times. I managed to avoid that. So I'm going to take that as my cue to shut up. So thank you for coming by, either live or later on the YouTube channel. As I've said many times, doesn't matter to me either way. And if you can, go out there and be creative, create something, or go enjoy somebody else's stream where they're creating stuff. That's good too. It's good for your brain, I think. And yeah, thanks for coming by. We'll see you on the next stream, and take care.